Now, who are the first timers in the room again? Can you put your hand up? Oh, quite a few of you. Give them another round of applause. So just keep in mind what happens. Lisa didn't mention this bit, but first timers around about, I think it's about 4 o'clock, we do karaoke, and you come up and you sing a song. So you got about an hour to work out what song you're going to sing and all that. And I'm serious. And if you need a scotch, we've got it out the back, and etc. etc. That's how crazy this business is, right? Very quickly, you don't have to be crazy to build this thing, but it helps. Congratulations for all of you being here on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, because there's so many other things you could do on a gorgeous day like today. So well done for being here. Now, some of you might be here under sufferance. I apologise that you're going to have to listen to us for the next couple of hours, and hopefully we don't send you to sleep. And the purpose for today, for those of you that are new, and for those of you that have been around a while, and for those of you that have been around a long, long while, hopefully we can inspire. I can't motivate, because motivate comes from within, but hopefully we can get you thinking about, jeepers, it might be worthwhile thinking about building a diamond business, because all I can share with you is it is worth it. Who's after more money? Everybody put your hand up. Who's after more time? Right? Because this business can genuinely and seriously give you both, whether you're 18 or whether you're 80. Right? Like, I'm going to waffle on for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to let you loose with Karen, and she will help you get your thinking right. Who in this room hasn't got a clue on what you're actually in yet? Seriously, if you're not too sure what the business is, be honest. Now, and I'm sure somebody probably, yeah, that'd be right. Well, there's a lot of us IBOs that are still getting our head around this thing. This is how simple this industry is. It'll take me a minute and a half to explain to you a way of setting up lifestyle. Because lifestyle means you are not worried about money, and lifestyle means you have got total control of that watch on your wrist or the clock that's at home. All right, now, and that is not relative to how old you are. Right? Through this industry, we've met guys in their early 20s that have got the freedom that people in their 60s would crave for. It's not a matter of age. Very quickly, I was a fishologist, an aquacultural surgeon, not fish and chips, Lisa. I was an aquacultural, I learned how to use a knife, and I was doing operations on dead fishies all day, every day. Taking their guts out. It stunk, but it paid well, right? Well, Karen was a school teacher, and she said the kids' socks stunk as well. True? Remember that? Well, both in schools, kids and fish. And they both smell. I had a pretty substantial traditional business for about 25 years, millions and millions and millions of dollars of turnover, hundreds of thousands of dollars of stock and inventory and all that sort of stuff. Made good dough. I had to keep Karen in the manner that she was wanted to be kept in. Tennis court, swimming pool, kids in private school, all that sort of jazz. We never saw each other, but we had the material things. That was real sexy. And then all of a sudden this business came along, and I'll both talk about that a bit later. I was very apprehensive. Karen hated it. But the thing was, what this business did in 36 months, part-time. The first 12 months probably we didn't really give it a crack. What it did for what I could not achieve in 25 years of my life, I achieved in 3 years part-time. No staff, no stock, no handling money, no taking orders if we didn't want to, and working it when I wanted to. That's what you got your hands on, everybody. And real simple, this is the business. This is a business model for an $11, $12 billion industry, right? Regardless of public perception, we use the Amway company as a logistics company. We're in their building. Something must be happening. They've got one of these here. They've got one of them in Melbourne. They've got one up there in Sydney, New Zealand, all around the world. In Australia, there's around about 300 companies that outsource through Amway because they are good at what they do. Here's the opportunity. You. Good old, little old you. Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how sharp you are. Thank goodness, otherwise I wouldn't be standing here. I am the perfect example of what a system can do and getting around the right people can do. I did not know any of my support team. Lee McCulloch, Tony Armstrong, didn't know any of them. But they got me out of the rat race in 36 months and they got Karen out of the rat race in 9 months, right? And if you get your head around what you got your hands on, the business is the business. The business is showing people how to buy stuff and we get paid, not the multinational companies. The opportunity is you. You're going to get involved in a team of people that are going to help you. Ask for it. You're going to get involved in an incredible system that can teach you to become a person that you need to become to have time and money, whether you're 18 or whether you're 80 in the room. And all we're going to do is we're going to find some of these 8 million consumers, and there's probably more, but 8 million households actually in Australia and around the world, but in Australia alone, we're going to help you find some of these bunnies that are looking to make some money or looking to save some dough, and we're going to help you build a business based on wholesale and retail. That's it. We're going to find some people and we're going to put them into a buying group or a self-consumption group or a group that are going to move products from Amway into their homes, and you're going to get a percentage. That's it. Now, the size of the dollars you want to make will be determined on the structure of an organisation that the team's going to help you put together. Now, in traditional business, I was flogging my backside off trying to make some serious dough, but I did not understand that I was never, well, I did understand, I was never going to duplicate myself. In this business, all of a sudden, you will learn through your team, the system and the team, how to duplicate yourself. That's where wealth comes from. Right? So that's what we're on about. Okay, that's it. That's it. One home, spending $500 a month will give you a bit of time, convenience, and you'll probably make about 10 or 12 and some savings. 100 homes structured the right way can nearly give you 80 to $100,000 a year ongoing. Structured the right way, because we all have to eat, we all have to wash. Doesn't matter what background or where we are or what the economy's doing, we are in a business that you can set up that can be ongoing forever. I reckon that's huge. Now, me being a fishmonger, that was it. Boom, game, set, match. My son didn't want to have anything to do with it, he said, when he started to grow up. So once I couldn't stand up and fillet fish and talk fish language, that was it. My business was going to stop. However, all of a sudden now our business is based on learning how to do something, teaching others how to do it, and duplicating, and it just grows and it'll go all around the world. I am fired up about that, because the secret is you will change other people's lives. Who likes that idea? Who likes the idea of being successful because you've helped somebody else be successful? So that's the business. So Kaz, you can come back up again now. What we're going to take you through this afternoon, it all gets back to how serious you are about where you want to go with your life. That's it. Right? So I'm going to hand you over to Karen. She'll share with you, I guess, what this thing's done for us. Here's Kaz.
I just want you all to remember that you're the master of your own fate and the captain of your own souls. And we're all going to go sailing or cruising, whatever you choose, however you choose to do it. Follow your dreams and set your goals. In this business, yes, you will be challenged. There is work to do. No use sitting in a safe harbour, because the view's better from out at sea. Things will be stormy. Don't wait for the storm to pass. Move through it. What we've learned in this business is to think differently. We've learnt to believe. We've learnt to trust. We've learnt to prioritise time. We've actually learned to work together. And we've also had to learn to work in a team. Every one of you you are all part of an awesome team. For Raka and I, we're really, really privileged to be part of Lee and Kathy's Diamond Ship. We're also really privileged to have people like Lisa as mentors as well. And we get out there and we have lots and lots of fun. When we first started in this business, I was Miss Perfect and Raka was Mr. Grumpy. Now we've become Little Miss Sunshine and Mr. Happy. I suppose, for those of you that might have grown up with the Mr. Men books. But what I needed to do was learn to check my attitude and to prioritise time, because I was a mother, a wife, brilliant provider in the kitchen for the family, and I was teaching part-time. And those of you that come from an education background might realise that for those that don't come from an educational background, you probably think that teachers have all these holidays and it's the best job in the world. Well, some of us probably did teaching because we might have thought that was the case, but it actually isn't, because during those school holidays you do actually have to work with correction and getting your curriculum ready for the next term and things like that. So I was really busy when we first looked at this business, and like Raka said, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And there were times when, as we were building the business, I really didn't understand what we were involved in. And even when I actually left teaching, 15 months after being involved in the business, I said to Raka, so what are we doing? Has this got something to do with Amway? I'd been using the product for 15 months, but I still didn't realise what I was actually in. So for you new people, if you're trying to work out what this business is, just hang on to your mentors and your coaches and they'll guide you through. You don't need to know everything and anything. Sometimes you get into this business and you expect that you should know what you need to do. Ask lots of questions, but don't question what's suggested to you, because the people that are leading you through, your team, they've been through it and they can actually help you shortcut through your journey because they've made all the mistakes before you. And you'll still make your own mistakes, but anyway. But this business has been an amazing journey for us. It's not necessarily the big things. It's not the houses and the cars and all those sort of things that you appreciate when you build the business. It's the sleeping in. It's not having to get up to an alarm clock. It's not having to get up and be the first one to turn on the lights in the kitchen and put the kettle on and get the breakfasts ready for the kids. It's actually enjoying the journey. It's enjoying the snow-capped mountains that you fly over. It's the coffee and the cake. It's actually having a girls' pyjama party or a mixed pyjama party. But it's learning to laugh again. When Raka and I, we'd been married 15 years before we got involved in the business, and over those first 15 years, we'd forgotten how to laugh because we were too busy trying to make a living and make things work. We were too busy trying to impress people. And what we learnt within 12 months of being in the business, that we learnt who our friends were. In this business, we have had it said to us that from people who haven't wanted to get into the business, oh, no, you use people. Who's heard of that excuse? Well, Raka was self-employed and he had fresh crayfish and fresh prawns. And when we were first married, we were so poor, we couldn't afford steak. And we would have prawns and oysters and crayfish nearly every night of the week. So we finally found a butcher that could actually, we bartered because his wife was sick of steak. So that worked really, really well with us. But we got the excuse, oh no, you use people in that business. Well, while Raka was a fresh fish merchant, we had lots and lots of friends. Every weekend we would have people come to our place to play tennis, to swim in the pool, yep, even in Melbourne, to eat crayfish and prawns. When we sold that business, we didn't see those people anymore. In this business, we offer the same opportunity. Everybody has the same opportunity to get whatever it is out of the business. We don't use people. We help people. No matter what kind of challenges lie before you, if somebody believes in you and you believe in your dreams, it can happen. Be somebody, not something. That's what we've learned, because our team have always believed in us. Sometimes our family haven't believed in us, but the team that you have in this business, they'll pull you up by the bootstraps and help you achieve the goals that you want. Some of the things that we have achieved started out as little things. What are the things that you enjoy doing? For us, for me, it was, I love coffee and cake. I've got to find a place now with low-fat milk and less calories, or I have to suffer and go to the gym more often. But I love coffee and cake. And when Mel, our daughter, was little, we'd go to the local cafe and we'd have coffee and cake. She'd have the froth off the cappuccino. And now you can actually go and buy a cup of froth. Back then I used to always lose the froth off my cappuccino because I'd have to share it with her. And we enjoyed doing that. But as I was working more and she started school, the time together lessened. But once we got in this business, we could go and have coffee and cake at the Hopetoun Tea Rooms in the Block Arcade in Melbourne, which is an institution. When you all come down, make sure you go to the Hopetoun Tea Rooms because they have the best vanilla slices. So we'd go there. Then, as we built the business and learnt to set rewards, we got to go to high tea at the Windsor, up the top of Collins Street and Spring Street in Melbourne. And then as we built the business and set goals and took rewards, we were able to have coffee and cake along the Champs-Élysées in Paris. They were little goals that started off, but as we built the business, the rewards grew. What is it going to be for you? What things do you want to achieve? What are the crazy things that you want to achieve? Another time I went to Raca and I said to him, Rac, 6 of us are going to go and have coffee and cake. 6 girls from the business that I'd got to know that were strangers, that our paths would never have met unless it had been for this business, and we've become close friends. We've decided we're going to have coffee and cake. Yeah, well, fine, says Raca. Why do you want to ask me? Why do I need to be involved? Well, some of the girls lived in Perth, so he figured, okay, it might mean a trip to Perth. All right, well, what do you want? When are you going? I said, I need $5,000 and we're going for a week. And he said, for coffee and cake? Yep, we're going to have Vienna coffee in Vienna. Would I have thought that that was ever going to happen before we got involved in this? No, because my thinking wasn't big enough to think outside the box. Rac has spoken about the Tour de France. How many of you would like, or how many of you have said, oh, it'd be really nice to be at the Olympics? How many of you would like to go to Rio de Janeiro in 4 years' time to the Olympics? Set a goal, set sail, and make it happen, because you're masters of your own fate and you're captains of your own destiny. Have a go. Write down, I can remember people saying to us when we got involved in the business, write down 100 things that you would like to achieve. Who's seen the movie The Bucket List? Don't wait till it's too late. Just go out there and set a goal counsel with your team and ask what you need to do to be able to achieve the things that you wanted to achieve. I mean, one of the dreams that we as baby boomers had was to visit Disneyland. And it's probably everybody's dream to go and visit Disneyland and see Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and Donald Duck. But standing outside the Magic Kingdom with his two children, aged 11 and 14, looking at the Magic Kingdom and going, gee, it's taken me 40 years to get here and I can't believe I'm standing here, with tears welling up in his eyes. And his 11-year-old son looking up to him and said, gee, Dad, I'm only 11 and it only took me 11 years. How come it took you so long? What we have done for our children, who are now young adults, we have helped them understand that with work, with hard work, they can achieve whatever it is they want to achieve. Talent will get you a certain way, but perseverance and consistency will outweigh it. And in this, you don't have to do it by yourself. You need to suck it up and ask for help, because your team's there to help you. If you think that you can do it by yourself, you won't succeed. You'll become frustrated, disheartened, and you'll probably quit. But know that you'll be quitting on yourself and your dreams. I mean, some of the things that we've experienced, we would never have thought that we would experience. Christmas in Ireland, and it snowed, as you would expect. But the Irish told us before Christmas Eve that it hadn't snowed for 14 years. But we knew it was going to snow. And it did snow. Being in Times Square for New Year's Eve, when I wouldn't even allow my children to go into the city of Melbourne on New Year's Eve, but there were 8 of us traipsing around New York. To have a small dream that one day your daughter, who loves dance and musical theatre, and you'd go to all the school productions, to be able to take her to Broadway and go and watch 42nd Street, to go to Paris and see Moulin Rouge, and just know that if there's a live show somewhere, you can go. It would be awesome to go and see Les Mis in London and the East End. That'll happen once we set a goal and we do some work for it. Don't wish that you had. Go out saying, I'm glad that I did. Because this business can actually give you whatever it is that you want, whether it's more money, more time. For Raka and I, it's actually made us work together. It's made us communicate with each other. And he's different. He's actually different to what I thought he was. As Melanie says, he's no longer grumpy. He's actually a happy man most of the time. Just go out there, have fun, get your bucket list happening, and come and join us, because it's little steps, it's progressions, it's little steps along the way that'll help you get to what you want. Come cruising with us, because it's a step to help you start growing a group that'll help you set up a group that you can work with, that you can help them achieve their goals and dreams, and it'll set you up for bigger goals and dreams. Because everything we do in this business has a system and a pattern, and they're not big things that we're asking you to do. We're just asking you to have some belief in yourselves and belief in your team, which is a bit hard, because I look at our team, we didn't know any of them. They were strangers. But remember, strangers are only friends that you haven't got to know yet. So here's Raca.
That was special. Nice work. Rightio, that was very good, Kaz. Some amazing experiences there. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to take you through, I guess, what this business has provided us. I've got a question for you all. What's your dream? I'll give that a thought for a second. There's no right or wrong answer. Have you got a dream, and what is your dream? All right, because later on I'll take you through what we need to do so you can get your hands on $60,000 per annum or a couple $100,000 per annum, plus some. But that's all irrelevant at this point in time, but very, very quickly. Like, that's the question I was asked 15 odd years ago. What's your dream? And you know what I said? I just need more money just to get that pressure of finances off my case and to get some time. I just want more time. Right? Who was thinking that when I asked that question? Hands up. Who was thinking less stress, more time? Right? More money to pay. Who was thinking, geez, I'd love to get rid of some of my debt? Who was thinking that? Right? You know what? They are all necessities in life. We've all got them. We've all got debt. You know, there's good debt and bad debt. But, you know, time. We all want time. They're all necessities. They're great things. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. When I first saw this business by a guy, he sat down at our kitchen table. I was like Mr. and Mr. Average, peddling really hard, living from week to week, living from month to month, living from year to year, right? And he said to me, he goes, okay, Raca, it was around about May 1990, 17 years now, May 1995. We got registered May or June, did nothing for a little while, but... And he goes, you know what? He goes, okay, Raca, what? Now, so here's my question to you guys. Here we are, it's about the 4th of August, right? 2012. Who knows what they were doing Monday to Friday 12 months ago? Who can remember? Right? What you were doing Monday to Friday to earn your income 12 months ago. Your financial situation, you know, whether you're happy. Who can picture themselves 12 months ago? Now, here's another question. Who can picture themselves 2 years ago? What you were doing, your financial situation, were you happy, were you living the life you wanted, were you doing the things you wanted? Right, who can remember 2 years ago, who can remember 12 months ago? Righto, the question is, what's different today? Why is everybody laughing? I ask that question sometimes, people start crying. But you know what I'm getting at? What has changed in your life in the last couple of years? Doing what you're doing. Your profession may have changed, but if you're still trading hours to make dollars, you'll never, ever experience freedom. Freedom is when you can get out of bed when you want to and not have to report to anybody. Now, that's not right. And I'm not saying what you're doing is right or wrong. All of a sudden now we get back to that dream thing. Now, and most people, we're all conditioned and we think, gee, to get rid of some debt, you know, I just want to be a bit happier, find a bit of time. But they're all warm, fuzzy necessities. Then all of a sudden, I was asked by another bloke, hey mate, let's get serious. What stuff would you love to do that is way out there, that is just so abstract, people would think you're absolutely stupid if you do stuff like that? Do you know what I'm getting at? Because I was shown the plan, I was peddling really hard, and I registered for the sake of, I've checked it out, there was nothing to lose, you know. Worst thing that's going to happen to us is to save some money, Karen, on our general shopping. Great, you know. What if it might work? You know, there was a bit of hope, right? So I signed up. Karen was going, I don't know how I'm going to fit it in. She mentioned it. I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I'm working part-time. How am I going to fit it? I don't see you now. How are we going to fit all this crazy stuff in? That was traditional thinking coming from a couple that were trading hours to make dollars and were living beyond their means. Poor. Who knows of people that quite often live beyond their means? Most of us, quite often in this day and age, you know, we're in a materialism world now, you know. I grew up when there was one car and one TV. Now we left this morning and there was 5 cars in our driveway and 4 TVs, 3 computers and about 36,000 mobile phones in our house. That's the way it seems, you know. But what I'm getting at was, the thing is this. If you can get emotional about something, now clearing debt is a necessity. It won't get you emotional. Does that make sense? And then they go to me, righto, Racovalis,